Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So, there's supposed to be a Buffy reboot at some point. Who knows when that's coming out? I'm not here to predict any of that, but with the new Buffy the Vampire Slayer coming out, I wanted to review the whole series. And then I kind of forgot, like a lot of people, oh yeah, Buffy was a movie first. I'd actually never seen this movie before. I'd seen the show before. I loved the show. But for whatever reason, I never checked out the movie. And to be honest, if you've seen the show and you haven't seen the movie, don't feel too bad. Because the show is basically a reboot of the movie. This is a movie that has elements of what the show would have, but really it doesn't really have any of Joss Whedon's clever writing or really great characters. It just kind of has introduced you to kind of the similar concept. You got this girl who, she's a cheerleader, and then she kind of realizes, oh shit, her town's infested by vampires. She has to become a vampire slayer. And there's some fun to be had in that, but this movie is so dated. And Buffy is a show that obviously feels of the 90s. I mean, I feel like it is one of the most iconic 90s shows, right? But I feel like a lot of those episodes still have a lot of things that hold up in them. Like, there are people who watch Buffy now and still like it, right? And it's not just because they grew up with it or connected with it. I feel like there's new people who discover Buffy and still get into it. And with this movie, this would not be the greatest introduction piece into that world. I just feel like it's missing a lot of things. And it's hard to really explain. But yeah, I mean, it just kind of doesn't work. None of the vampires were very interesting. I feel like some of the ones in the show would eventually become. And it doesn't feel like a lot of that. Which is interesting because, let me see here. Yeah, it's written by Joss Whedon, but it doesn't feel like it's written by Joss Whedon like the show does. It feels a little bit different. And I think, Joss Whedon, a lot of writers have this kind of feeling where when you write stuff, you always think, oh, I could do that better. And so I think later on he really was able to perfect certain things. And I think this movie is still a fun movie. I'd recommend it, especially if you're going to watch it during October. I know it's November now, but it's still an entertaining movie if you like 90s kind of horror stuff, which really there isn't a lot of really great 90s horror movies or stuff of that ilk, besides the obvious stuff like Scream. But this is a fun one that I think gets often forgotten, and some of that is for good reason, because the show is better and this movie's pretty weak, honestly, but is what it is.